brethren kind and good. So I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on to reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow.
Ladies and
so whatever my mind can see, that I will achieve. Because I do the things I should, between my brethren kind and good. So I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. Hello.
Oh yes, my Stray Dog family, I do apologize for that little glitch. But again, time to bid you good night, St. Kitts and Nevis, and the entire Caribbean region. Also to my Stray Dog family in the Kittitian and Nevision diaspora. I know that some of you are in Africa, some of you are in Asia, some of you in Europe, and there are a whole lot of you all over North America. So I am at liberty to say good night. I can say good morning, and in some cases I can also say good afternoon, because one of such greetings would be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. My Stray Dog family, tonight I really want to examine the important issue of banking in St. Kitts Nevis, but more particularly to focus on something I call bank busting. It's not quite familiar in St. Kitts Nevis, but bank busting first came to St. Kitts in 1985, some 36 years ago. And that's a long time. It's important because the economic performance of a country is largely determined by banking and the financial system. Now, banking and finance, my straight dog family, play a vital and crucial role in framing public policies in today's business environment. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, though, I must surprise you before I go any further that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a program to express yourselves freely. In the process, I always try to implore you to continue to keep St. Kitts and Nevis as one of the freest countries in the world. Political issues, of course, always seem to attract more discussion. It always seems to really dominate the issues we discuss because perhaps unavoidably so, because they relate to the activities associated with the governance of the country. For years on Straight Talk, I set forth to, or rather on a path of my very own. I set forth on a path of my very own and was never afraid to discuss anything, even politics, I would confess. And I'm sure for those of you who have been following the program, you would agree with me. Especially if it implies to measures which could and should be implemented in the hope of creating a better society than the one we have now. As I said, we try to raise the level of national discourse. We try to raise the level of national consciousness by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and, of course, to their obligations. So we must protect the fundamental rights and freedoms of our people that are guaranteed within the Constitution. So we focus heavily on educating our people. And as your host, I try to do so as a strong proponent of what we call CPD, continuing professional development. As Mr. Shepton Course would put it, and I quote, "with fire in my belly," although for a moment he suggested that I seem to be losing it, my Straight Talk family. That was a surprise to me.
I hope you're not losing touches, that fire in the belly for justice and freedom of speech. I hope you're not losing it, because a gentleman called and asked you about this stuff with Victor Williams and the court and what happened to him, what the court did with him, and you tell him you're going to research it. There's nothing to research, my friend. It's in the public square. It's in the public domain. So don't let nobody intimidate you, okay? You're the one who gave us our freedom of speech. You, Patches Liburd. Without you, you have people who are trying to deny us our freedom of speech, and you're the one who saved the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. So don't let nobody intimidate you. And we know you mean well, that you being there for petitions, you saved us, okay? And don't give up. You keep that fire in your belly, that fire of justice and freedom of speech. Our people have become sick.
Yes, he seemed to have suggested that I'm losing, to use his words, fire in my belly. Well, at times we don't always agree. But notwithstanding the foregoing though, I submit that tonight we must take meaningful steps to end the political division and dysfunction that pervades our politics, because the never-ending and insidious attempts at the personal destruction of each other are not helping to advance the development of our federation. Look at today in St. Kitts, for example. The country, through its cabinet, demonstrated its full confidence by participating in the COVID vaccine rollout. But the leader of the opposition, I'm advised, apparently was a no-show, or perhaps he will do so tomorrow, my Straight Talk family. We hope that he will do so.
Let us be the first to receive and achieve herd immunity. I want you to invite your neighbor, your family members, everyone to participate. The numbers and representatives we have had from the various groups who are participating is indicative of that philosophy. We have invited all sides of the House to participate, and in this regard, the Medical Chief of Staff, Dr. Wilkerson, would have invited the Leader of the Opposition to be part of this process today. We hope that he will come before it's ended today. The Speaker of the Parliament is expected tomorrow to join with the other members of the Parliament and again to showcase the unity in the country as far as vaccination is concerned.
The unity in respect of the vaccination rollout was not totally there, it seems. But as a public service announcement, Straight Talk hereby informs the Federation and the world that health officials within the Team Unity Administration roll out its vaccination program today, and it will continue at the following venues as of tomorrow, February the 23rd, my Straight Talk family, as announced by the indomitable CMO, Dr. Hazel Laws. And these are the venues.
COVID-19 vaccination will continue at this health center, the Newtown Health Center, at the Bastia Health Center, Sandy Point Health Center, and the Tabernacle Health Center in St. Kitts. And in Nevis, the Charlestown Health Center, the Gingerland Health Center, and the Combermere Health Center. The vaccine will be given to persons aged 18 to 80 years. However, persons who are over 80 can still receive this vaccine. However, we are recommending that they go to their regular practitioner or physician and be evaluated to determine their suitability for receiving this vaccine.
And my Straight Talk family, on our program last Thursday, to be exact, someone also asked about the cost of the vaccines to be administered to citizens and residents. I can now reconfirm that the vaccines will be administered free of cost to all those who wish to be vaccinated.
Everyone should come forward in his or her self-interest and be vaccinated. That way you save not only your life, but you make an effort to save that of your loved one. So I want to invite everyone. It is also being made available free of cost.
Yes, my Straight Talk family, free of course. So my family, that's as much as I wish to speak about the vaccine rollout today, unless you feel otherwise, because remember, this is your program, my Straight Talk family. But as I said from the outset, my Straight Talk family, tonight, I really wanted to examine the important issue of banking in St. Kitts and Nevis, and more particular, to focus on something I call bank busting. At this time, when we continue to face this grave health and economic crisis, the time is now urgent. It is more important than ever that we chart a bipartisan course that would help to address the many serious challenges facing our federation today. But how could we, you may ask, when fake news about the National Bank continue to make the rounds on social media, being peddled by those who put self above country? It even made its way to the Parliament last Thursday, the 18th of February. But Speaker Perkins intervened. My Straight Talk family, good of him to do just that.
One of my disappointments as Speaker is the fact that the opposition in particular has failed over the years to bring certain matters to this National Assembly in the manner in which the standing orders allow. Meaning, there is an opportunity on the order paper for there to be questions to the ministers. I'm always of the view that that is one option that is available to opposition members to put questions to ministers so they can provide answers to the National Assembly and to the nation. Once we get to the adjournment, I would always have a difficulty when members introduce controversial issues. Otherwise, the chair would be forced to make a ruling on it.
But for Speaker Perkins, it would have given some an opportunity to gloat on two controversial issues, to wit, the COVID vaccines and the National Bank. I found that to be sad because a lot of stress and uncertainty have been caused by the COVID pandemic. With respect to the latter, meaning the bank, many people have lost their jobs and continue to depend on their dwindling savings. So the last thing that anyone would want to hear is bad news about the institution where they bank their money. Bad news that that institution was busted or has collapsed. An insensitive and speculative statement like this one was rather unfortunate, my Straight Talk family. Rather unfortunate, I dare say.
I ask for more information on what has been in the media in recent times with regard to the difficulties that depositors, clients, and customers are experiencing in dealing with this bank over the last week or so. There is not enough information, thus it lends to gross speculation on the part of the citizens of our country and on the part of the depositors who have made this bank their bank. We ask for more information so that ideas that are being circulated may not just be wild ideas, but ideas which should be put to rest with regard to proper accountability.
Proper accountability from the bank? In respect of the National Bank, though, there is a little historical variance regarding its establishment for those of us who don't know much about the bank. In a small part, one can read that it was Stanley Prokop and Edgar Bridgewater who promoted the idea and established a banking office on Central Street called the Penny Bank. Its customers were allowed to open an account with just 1 penny, and many poor people who had much difficulty in dealing with the foreign banks on the island took advantage of being able to save for a rainy day. Another historical account stipulates that it was the institution called the Penny Bank which later became the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank, of which Edgar Bridgewater was a founding member. In a message published on the 20th anniversary of the founding of the National Bank, Bridgewater recalled those early days. Whoever founded the institution, however, the National Bank is a public limited company with the majority shareholders being, shareholder I should say, being the St. Kitts Nevis federal government. The shares are traded on the Eastern Caribbean securities market. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank regulates National Bank and all banks. As a matter of fact, all banks operating in St. Kitts and Nevis are subject to the provisions of the Banking Act of 1991, which has been revised. All banks and financial institutions operating in St. Kitts Nevis are required to be licensed by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. The financial sector of the Federation is small and well dominated by banks. Among them, 2 local banks, namely the Bank of Nevis Limited and the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank. There are 3 branches and subsidiaries of foreign banks: Republic Bank, formerly the Bank of Nova Scotia, the CIBC, First Caribbean International Bank, Barbados Limited, and the Royal Bank of Canada. Domestic banking is regulated by the Banking Act of 1991, and non-domestic banking falls under the Financial Services Regulations Order of 1997. And of course, Nevis has its own offshore banking ordinance of 1996. So 2 types of banking license are granted under the Federation's 1997 Financial Services Regulations Order: unrestricted and restricted licenses, which require minimum levels of financial resources. And my Straight Talk family, the Act, or the Banking Act, was revised and consolidated the laws related to banking, and in that connection, it was to replace the Banking Act of number 6 of 1991. That's the Banking Act Cap 21.01, to facilitate the Caribbean single market and economy, and to provide for related or incidental matters. And Section 20 of that Act is very interesting, which deals with central bank examination. Also, Section 22, which outlines the central bank's powers and measures for preventing adverse consequences. And that's, for now, in the interest of time, I will say so much about the powers of the bank, but that central bank has authority vested in the law. I would be surprised though, and you know, my Shredog family, I should say, banks today promise everyone that they can have their money back instantaneously, right away. But the bank does not actually have enough money to pay everyone at once, because they have lent most of that money out to other people, maybe 90% or more. Thus, banks are always at risk for runs, where the depositors at the front of the line get their money back, but their depositors at the back of the line do not. But in spite of the ECCB prudential guidelines, I may add, and I just want to submit posit that particular view. But I will be surprised though if the capital of the National Bank is impaired, or worse yet, its financial condition is unsound. No one can say that the business of the National Bank is being conducted in an unlawful or imprudent manner, and or the continuation of such business or its activities is detrimental to the interests of the depositors. But, I may add, customers have a right to know. They do have a right to know what's happening about the bank. And this customer, surprisingly, she had that view on my program last week.
I have some money in there, but people is saying that when you go to put the money in the tellers them, they give you trouble with the money. You got to change the check, they give you trouble to change the check. So I want to know what's going on in the bank, because if the machine is shut down and you can't get no update, they're using the ordinary computer, not the computer we hook up in there. So something going on in there, you need to come to tell the public, because this going on like the bank report Rockies was. A lot of people get out the money, and we the small people can't get out the money. If you want to cut me off, you cut me off by looking out for my country.
And she has that right. An ordinary woman like you and I has that right. But the question that arises in my mind, though, is, if the National Bank is not safe, you must be wondering, where can you and I put our money? My Straight Talk family, I will respond this way. There is no path without risk. But I'm here to tell you that the National Bank issued so many releases. And I'm here to also say that the National Bank resumed its normal operations as of today. All of the services, or its services, were restored. Many false rumors about the National Bank are currently being spread via social media, obviously with malicious intent, to try to bring about or initiate a run on the bank at its 2 branches in Bastille. Now, during a bank run, a large number of depositors lose confidence in the security of their bank, leading them all to withdraw their funds at once. And banks run normally, or bank runs normally, start by simple rumors of a bank's inability or unwillingness to pay out its funds. And that's why some people were spreading these false rumors on social media about the bank. As a matter of fact, the bank just announced that in its next financial year, it would embark upon the rebuilding, the reconstruction of the Sadler's branch, which was closed years under the former administration. And that's commendable for the bank. And as the bank celebrates its 50th anniversary, I, on behalf of all my Straight Talk family, wish the bank continued success. We understand the last 5 years of the bank, the most successful years in its 50-year history. And my Straight Talk family, most successful in terms of its earnings. But this is what some people want to see. As my good friend from Boyd's Village referred to what happened to the bank with Lucky's Cosmetics, she said was, but where Lucky's Cosmetics was located. This is what she said. And although it's coming from this lady, we must take these comments seriously, my Straight Talk family. And we do here on Straight Talk.
So something going on in there, you all need to come to tell the public. Because this going on like the bank with part Lucky's was.
The bank which part Lucky was. And this bank being referred to is the Bank of Commerce. And I recall many people over 36 years ago used to line up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning and never got their deposits. The first run on the bank in St. Kitts Nevis, on a bank in St. Kitts Nevis, was that bank, the Bank of Commerce, St. Kitts and Nevis Trust and Savings Association Limited. And it went into compulsory liquidation on May 9th, 1985, at which time the late Walter Simmons, an experienced accountant who no doubt met the particular requirements of the court, was appointed as its liquidator. His role was to take control of the business, sell the company's assets, and it had assets like an air cargo plane, land on the Southeast Peninsula, and other valuable assets. But he was to take control, sell the assets, and distribute its proceeds to its creditors. 30 years after, in 2015, some people got their monies back. Even their families may have died. How many of us are aware that the president of the Bank of Commerce, a former Attorney General, was convicted at the criminal assizes in February 1986 for what the court called on the 25th of November 1982 with intent defrauded, having obtained a valuable security to wit a check on account of the Bank of Commerce by falsely representing that the certificate of deposit number 3054 with a face value of US $587,500 was a valid certificate. That we found out was false and was fraudulent, and the court documents say that. But I posit the view, however, my Straight Talk family, that what happened to the Bank of Commerce will not happen to the National Bank. And the Prime Minister, who is also the Minister of Finance and the Minister with responsibility for banking, gave that assurance to the country just last week.
The customer's deposit, the bank is assured, is protected. There is no run on the bank. In fact, we have had more deposits than withdrawal during this period. In coming to raise it and as if there is something being hidden at the bank is unfortunate. Because we had a run on the bank before. We had that. And so from that experience, we should be guarded as to what should happen and what ought not to happen. I can assure the depositors and all the customers at the bank that the National Bank leadership is doing everything humanly possible. And that is why in reports after report that come out, you're getting an update of the progress.
And many updates were given by the bank over the last 2 weeks. Bank experienced an interruption in its service caused by an IT security incident. And as a precautionary measure, the bank preemptively decided to take all systems offline to contain the incident and ascertain how severe it was. And the bank communicated this to everyone. But today, the final communique to it, the bank issued that all its services had resumed. It also communicated that the deposits made by its customers over the past 2 weeks far exceeded the amount withdrawn by its customers. The scope of the bank's operation and its growth over its 50-year history is truly remarkable and captures the attention and admiration of customers and professionals all over the world. But as nationals of St. Kitts, Nevis and Anguilla, the OAS and the wider Caribbean, we have much reason to celebrate the golden jubilee of the St. Kitts, Nevis, Anguilla National Bank. And you tell me, what do you think about that? I must commend its chairman, Alexis Nisbet. He's always cool, calm, but that young man is such an astute, bright young man. He looks, and I like his humility as well, but he has been leading the bank well, suffice to add. And as I said before, the St. Kitts Nevis government, the largest shareholder in the National Bank, confirmed to the public its confidence in the institution and had guaranteed the general public that the institution is good and healthy and deposits are safe. So instead of advocating a run on the bank, a local bank at that, why wouldn't we want people to put their money elsewhere? And where? Instead of advocating a run on the bank, shouldn't we be advocating poverty reduction by helping poor people to manage their money? Isn't a bank account one of the best ways to manage your money? Isn't it still important to offer low-income individuals a viable door into the financial mainstream? Banks currently offer many services and conveniences that, if implemented and designed to serve the poor, could help low-income individuals plan for the future and build financial stability. Kudos for the board of directors and staff and management of the St. Kitts Nevis and Anguilla National Bank as they celebrate 50 years in existence. We celebrate all those who went before and all those who are there now. With that said, my Straight Talk family, I'm going to open the lines. It's 18 before 9. I'll entertain your calls and your emails. The numbers, if you're so minded to call, are 465-2555 and or 718-577-2916. There are those who like the cloak of anonymity, so I give you an opportunity to use our email platform, which is zizstraighttalk@gmail.com. I always like to implore you to respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned. Let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that the things we say and or do will be better beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of saying and doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. At 17:49, I go to the lines. Caller, you are live.
Good evening, Honorable. Now, your presentation was so great that I can defend you on that. You were doing good there. But what I gonna say, right? Under the previous government, before the great government like Team Unity, right? People in Nevis who work and went to the bank to get the salary, no money was there for them. The poor people in Nevis and the rich people who work in government service and things went to the bank in Nevis, no money was there for them. So when people throwing stone and talking about the bank, they got to pick the beams out of the eye first before they come to Team Unity to disqualify the bank on the Unity. That can't be right. And Patches, I want to say something. I don't know if people may see it the way how I see it. That bank was started as a poor people bank. Pennies and halfpenny. Right down there in my area when I was at West Button Gut and so on. There. Right? Now, the wages poor people were getting was like $16 a week, but they was able to bank $2 and $3 and different things like that. Now when you watch at the situation today, the average people in St. Kitts is not making $15,000 a year. The rent is high, the electric bill is high, the water bill is high, and they got the family to feed. Now, how much can you put on the bank and serve properly? Now, the crisis come on now, and you have people in the street talking, oh, don't bother with them. They work, they get big money, they get this, they get that, and they never used to bank the money. With this crisis here, a lot of people are stumbling Patches. They're stumbling. It's not worthless, they're worthless. It's just that it hit them in a crisis what they're never looking forward to. Now, you had the Prime Minister and his colleague and you and them, right, at the time, who tried to help the workers and the people of St. Kitts and Nevis by giving us some loan from Social Security, not loan, giving us something from Social Security that we could help ourselves and so on. But, Patches, believe me, you have people from the hotel sector, the tourism sector, the taxi sector, who's catching the royal. You understand me? I don't know what else the Prime Minister could do. You know? But I can just make a suggestion, trying it out there. I was listening to a press conference, and I hear Social Security got $6 to $7 billion. Billion, you know. Now, when you give a man his Social Security at 62 years, right? He may get the first check and so on for a whole year or so. If he do make it, he may gone before. You have many people who done gone with ton load of Social Security in there and they get none. Right? Why for this time, why they cannot invest just $1 billion into the poor shopkeepers, the poor business small men, and all them kind of things, and try to bail them out. You know? Remember this bank too was started a poor man bank, you know? And a poor man got to tell you who his mother used to be and who she used to go with in order for them to get a loan from them banks. You know, it's like they treat poor people with scorn. And it's not right because it was a poor man bank. You understand me? When the Prime Minister father was cutting cane and doing the cotton and doing what he was doing, if the poor man like he was putting money in the bank for the bank to think, that's why you see the Prime Minister went and studied to tell you how money spent. That is what makes him so good today. So they can't fool him. And he got a good team behind him with Sean. They can't fool them. You understand me? So tell them who talking about the bank and how the bank running out of money and things. When they used to go in the bank at night time, all hours of the night, till in the morning they're coming out. Ask them what they were bringing. God bless you all. Thank you, Patches.
God, thank you very much, my dear brother. Yes, we recall this.
Thursday, 9 a.m. to 5:30.
Okay, we go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Yes. Good evening, Dr. Ian Patches Liburd. How are you, brother?
Good evening, my brother.
Okay.
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Yeah, man, I'm good too. I'm good. Now, let me start there first with the COVID thing. Patches, I am so happy today when I listen to my radio at the launching of the vaccine. And I said, well, watch a government who cares about people. Free, F-R-E-E, free of cost, we're going to give you vaccine. There are some countries who are going to charge some kind of fee for the citizens of that country or those countries. Thank God for the government, because the saying is that anything that is good and it's free, take two. Well, when my turn come, I'm going to take two. One in the left hand and one in the right hand. And when I have to go back a couple of weeks after, I'm going to take another two. So I'm going to get 4 vaccines. Thank God I'm going to do that. Because it's free and let me take it. I ain't got to pay for it. Let me go to the banking now. That National Bank, I remember, Patches, when that was on Market and Central Street corner there by Mr. Bridge used to be running that. My sister used to work in there in the Print Tree. I used to bank $1 every Monday morning when I go to school. I had my little blue book, Mark St. Kitts, Nevis and Anguilla, Industrial Bank. Name change and now we come National Bank. The richest bank you could call in the OECS. And those people who are spreading the fake news and the propaganda, talking about the bank this and go for all your money and then again the money and all this kind of thing. They forget some of them got 7 figures behind the name in the same bank and they cannot show how they get it. Well, FBI gonna have to find out about that, because I know the chief of the board in the bank, he made many statements that the security of the bank, it is intact and the money is in the bank. So all them who believe in his stupidness and coming with sidewalk information in the ear, change all your listening. Listen to radio. Listen to ZIZ Radio, Sugar City Radio, and any other radio station that give you information about the bank. Listen to them, not listen to people on the street. But you see what happened? When Judas betrayed Christ knew he was going to do it. And like the lady talk about the bank in the circus where went bankrupt or what say with you. I remember it. My mother husband dead and gone left money in the Patches. And what happened there? One of the man who did that, they forget what happened to him. He betrayed the people of Nevis and come there and join with them on the other side of the river. And he corrupt the bank. He corrupt the bank in there. He went on the other side of the river to this government, the other side. And he corrupted. And he saw these who here now want to see the country drop. They got to walk up and down with the country name. So that the National Bank, this and that. But I could tell them, they will live long to see that happen. Now the next one again, One of them they up and down with Facebook, got the Prime Minister name on it. About Timo. We want to know Timo. Well, why he don't say that he get his gratuity from the government, but he owe the government, and the government take out what belongs to them. I will be foolish to know that somebody owe me, and they won't pay me now. Me gonna pay them now, and give them all the money in their hand, and they won't pay me what they owe me. The government take out their one, and that is what I heap on Facebook abuse. But why you don't tell people that? Patrice, I will come back. Thank you so long.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. Yes, many of us would remember the penny bank on the corner of Central and Market Street. Some are too young to remember that. Ethical Bridgewater and Stanley Prokop are the founders. My aunt actually worked there as well. Caller, you're live.
Greetings in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvin, Queen Insing. God blessed evening, my beloved African brother. How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I'm good, brother. I'm good, man. I'm good. Well, beloved brother, let me talk about the bank. And what I've been saying for over 15 years now, that the evil empire that we had from 1995 to 2015 and their minions, brother, they don't love the people of St. Kitts Nevis, and they don't love St. Kitts Nevis, beloved. If they can mismanage the thing in St. Kitts Nevis, they will rather see St. Kitts Nevis go to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. And I don't know why our people who there on the ground ain't getting that into their heads, into their brains. Beloved, it's there. What do you want? What else do our brothers and sisters want to see and hear from these people? These people are just plain evil, wicked, have no love whatsoever for African peoples. St. Kitts Nevis, beloved, and we have demonstrated that over and over and over. Beloved, they squander the people of St. Kitts Nevis money, give all kind of wars over Christopher Harbour and other places. And now they're talking about, come on, man, what love can you have? One is the best managed bank in the entire Caribbean, the most profitable bank in the OECS, if not the Caribbean, beloved. Come on, devil people. Stop spreading propaganda. Stop it, man. Come on. Y'all should be a damn shame of yourselves. I don't know who go follow you, man. And this ain't got nothing to do with politics whatsoever. Nothing at all, man. You also hate this administration that you are, let's say, all kind of things. What is the poor people of St. Kitts Nevis you are hurting? Poor people got most of that money there. Come on. When our people gonna wake up? People stop following these wicked and evil people who don't love you all, man. And let me say, brother, next time I hit St. Kitts Nevis, man, I'm bringing some money with me and put in that bank. I had some money as a child growing up, you know, and that bank at one time, beloved, and I gonna put money in that bank next time I land in the place of my birth, beloved. So my beloved brothers and sisters, stop studying these evil people. Stop studying them. They mean no good. They have demonstrated that over the years. So I don't know how come they could fool you still. Come on, my beloved sisters and brothers. Leave your money in the bank. The bank is in good hands and will remain there in good hands for a very, very long time to come. beloved sisters and brothers. Beloved, that all I have to say for now. I continue to listen, keep up the great work, Pan-Africanism and perish. One love, my beloved people.
Yes, one love, my brother. We go straight back to the lines. We know the raison d'etre, or the reason behind the propagandizing, the propaganda being spread about the bank is to bust the bank, but that won't happen. Caller, you are live.
Good night, Patrick. This is Dumpling speaking.
How are you, Lady Manners?
You know, this boy Wano say his sister did say how you win and how you did from your tongue. You know, to big brother Patrick? So he used to be in the army. Always by Polish Street or by Max's house. Stop today, a boy come down in the bus and a day stop by rooftop standing up. Some people putting up their life. I know where the people them from, but he abusing the people them and calling up your name and saying, oh, you know how thief you be. And saying, oh, calling a thing. They word and calling a story. They study him. Then he start to call me name. So I start to abuse him now. And he start to say about how me Prime Minister and his brother keep the bank money. And he be abusing you, the Prime Minister, and all. I said, the Prime Minister keeps bank money and you're down in the treasury, fixing the treasury door. That is big mouth, ugly one now. All the bang in your mouth, you want some carry food then. Anyhow, he talk and say, I'm going to come and Patrick station, and I'm going to call your name to Patrick. You saying how Patrick thief money and borrow water, and how the Prime Minister. Patrick, I don't know when they tell him. I don't know when they tell the man Wano. Because he loves to be in thing and he's an empty barrel. He ain't had nothing. He went rather than any mother that to a funeral, gone a pants, look like Barlacorn. You remember Barlacorn from that night?
Okay. Look, I got you, Dumpling.
I wanted to go to the dentist today, but I never know that they had something up there, so I pushed through. And when I push it, I come by the dentist, I can't get in the end, that, I'm very well. Anyhow, I said, well, since I'm up here, I can't get my vaccine. They said, this ain't for me yet. Because I would have liked to take it, Patrick. So Patrick, when I want to come here, ask one where you keep from him. He want to live in woman house because he don't see the whole man of America right now. Answer the man's phone in your house.
Okay, Dumpling. I got you. Got you?
How you doing?
I am doing wonderful. I'm peaceful. God's been good to me.
How the weather treating you up there?
Oh, lovely weather. Wish you were here.
Come here. That me can't take that deal. Me went to twice. And
you'll make me a good blanket.
January when you look, something coming down out this way hitting me in my face. In November I said I want to go home. I call. I want to go home. You could take the kind of weather down here to call now. Put it with all up there.
Okay, my dear.
And anybody say anything, I'm going to rise up. I'm going to come out of the answer. I'm playing because he don't work from the government. And then
okay.
So let me play. Please in that about.
Okay, please. Okay, Dumpling. I got you. Thank you. Thanks for your input, my Straight Talk family. I understand your passion. Sometimes you don't have to even add credence by responding to some of the nonsense you hear. And the fake news, as we said, about the bank and trying to run the bank to the ground will never happen. As Naba just put it, those who cannot manage would seek to destroy. And You're only remembered by the things you have done. And that's something you should just say to them when you hear the nonsense that you speak. But the fake news that's going around about the bank and making the rounds on social media, being peddled by those who put self above country, it is really sad. And at this time, when we continue to face this serious health and economic crisis, the time is now. It is urgent. It is more important than ever that we chart a course, a bipartisan course that will help to address the many serious challenges facing our nation today. It's my understanding, for example, that some 23 doctors in the Federation were vaccinated today out of some 50 persons, inclusive, of course, of the members of the Federal Cabinet. You understand that 2 opposition members did not show as well. You understand the leader of the opposition did not show. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. Perhaps he will show up tomorrow. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Honorable Patrice, my habit of meeting people, meeting good friends. That's my port of call. And I want to know when you're going to send me things when they tell me money be done. And somebody tell me you say, oh, I want it. But I'm waiting on it, you know, because I'm a labor woman. Yeah, it's a face shield for all. And I'm waiting for my face shield. And I'm looking at Varsity High School yesterday. When I walked down from New Road, it's looking fine because the grass and the bushes them cut down so you could see right over in Varsity High School. I saw I want it. Look good. That nobody could hide in there or touch nobody. And you have a good night and you take care. I want the flowers, so I tell you, the beauty flowers. Yes. Have a good night. Okay. And you take care and you wrap up good. And don't go send nobody with the cold. And just again, somebody saying, right, that in medicine, where they're giving for the vaccination. I hope we get the right one because it's a 3 kind of medicine, and I hope we get the right one. And nobody get no swell thing, and nobody get no sick. That's how people say it's supposed to be. And you have a good night. Take care.
Have a good night, my labor friend. As we said, Casilda. If you want some flowers, I'll send them for your next Valentine, I promise you. Caller, you're live.
Good night to the Ambassador Ian Patches Liburd representing us out there in the United Nations. Want to wish you all the best, brother. Wish you God guidance and protection. And you be careful out there with COVID because, you know, now the vaccine sharing out now. You know, a lot of people got a lot of doubt, you know, about it. But it's a world crisis, and we got to come together as one and try to see what can happen, what the vaccine can do to us here in the Federation of St. Nevis. Because it ain't easy that we got the COVID control, and now the vaccine come around, that we could take it and could live a little longer. We ain't have no death yet. So far. And we feel ignorant towards the vaccine and the health frontline them telling us. So I just want the people them to do well and take the vaccine. If everybody good enough to take it. Patches, I want to thank God for life. Thank God for giving me the wisdom and the knowledge and the understanding to give me. Patches, to in this Federation of St. Nevis, coming on and try to uplift my people in the Federation. You understand? Because it's important. Patches, I want to thank the founder for National Bank. Those 2 gentlemen. Patches, I started bank at National Bank when I was 16 years. I started bank at National. And I in my late 50s now. And I still banking at National Bank. There's a time a hurricane come to 2012 and had a little crisis. And I was so successfully banking at the National Bank. Get all kind of run around to get a little duty-free materials. I went to National Bank and take $37,000 off of my own account and fix my house work. Thank God for that. You understand? So National Bank is a firm bank because a poor man like me could go to National Bank and take that kind of money off to fix my house. You understand? Really, really got to give we ordinary people credit. I know that ordinary people say about National Bank because National Bank is the main source bank in this federation. I know you got the Royal Bank, the Republic Bank, Nova Scotia Bank. You got Barclays, the First Caribbean, and all those banks there. You know, other people carry the money there. Patches government in, government out. I stay with National. I remember at a time when Pam get in 1980, all kind of rumor was going around, so that people must move the money off a National Bank. One big man for the Labour Party went and he moved off a ton load of money and encouraged people to move the money because the farmer government got mess up the money and this and that with the money and where with the money. But Patches, me, Mr. Politics, I ain't have no doubt in this country about we bank, National Bank, St. Kitts Nevis and Anguilla National Bank. I always say that bank is a firm bank and I always say the bank manage well under any administration. So if the bank had a little glitch, I don't see the rumor coming around that people got to put the bank and spread bad name because of politics and say all kind of negative things about the bank. You understand? Everybody in the bank is a healthy bank. And I want to tell Brother Rock that people got to work to contribute. Social Security just can't dip up the hands and the money and give them that because bank might get money, this might get money. People got to contribute towards toward the saving and contribute toward the Social Security if they're doing their own and chop no skill. I hear a lady come on and always cussing down the government. You understand? But all like that lady, I know that she ain't working here much. She work overseas. She ain't getting nothing from overseas. You understand? But she want to blame the government for all the faults and the mistakes she make. You understand, Patches? But Patches, this country must go move on with a unity government going forward, and people go out and take your all vaccine. Patches, you have a wonderful night. If I get back. May God bless you and keep you. This is Mr. Politics. I am one powerful man in St. Kitts, and nobody could stop it. God bless you, Patches.
God bless you as well, Mr. Politics. And that testimony is what we're talking about. Instead of advocating a run on the bank, shouldn't we be advocating poverty reduction by helping poor people in the country to manage their money at bank? Banks offer many services and conveniences that, if implemented and designed to serve the poor, could help low-income individuals plan for the future and build financial stability. Mr. Politics just gave you that perfect example, having banked with the bank since he's 16 years, and he said it is mid-40s, I think it was. Master right, that's over 27 years. And he could have withdrew $37,000 from the bank to fix his roof. That is testimony we can admire. We go back to the lines. Caller, you in fact, let's see if I can take this message. First of all, my Straight Dog family. It's 12 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. In the event you have just joined me, we are looking at banking. We also provided you information about the COVID vaccine rollout, which didn't seem to have the support of those opposite as well. As someone said before, you cannot manage, so you destroy. But we also looked at banking, and we looked at the first run on a bank here in St. Kitts way back in 1985. But banking is very important in respect of our own economic development. In respect of National Bank, we've heard of the penny bank. I made mention earlier of the late gentlemen Stanley Prokop and Edgar Bridgewater, who promoted the idea and established a banking office on Central Street, at the corner of Central Street and Market Street, called the Penny Bank. Its customers were allowed to open an account with just 1 penny. Imagine that, 1 penny. And many poor people who had much difficulty in dealing with the foreign banks at that time, the Barclays Bank and the Royal Bank of Canada, that were on the island, took advantage of being able to save a penny for a rainy day. Yes, there were historical accounts that vary in terms of who established the bank. But one of the founding members, Edgar Bridgewater, did contribute as well to the National Bank. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you are live.
Yes, Patches, this is my second do. I am asking the government that those persons who the government have on the payroll, you're supposed to get paid when you work. That is true, and you're supposed to work honestly to get an honest day's pay. But there are many persons on the government payroll not really working, and they're getting paid. And there are some of them who owe the government money illegally, and the government not getting it. The government need the money from all those who owe the government, so that the government could have money to pay people. Those who owe the government are thousands of dollars, and they know they're not on the zone to get in pay, and they put out a hand and get paid. Those who are in charge are responsible to make sure that these people pay the government. What are they doing? Some of them owe the government 5 years now and months, going into 6 years. What happened to the DPP? Collect the government money and stop dragging on your foot. You know those who are talking about. Some of them went in Parliament, and they know they were supposed to be in there. They come down on Sean and Lindsey Grant, make them renounce their citizenship, so that they can be in the House of Parliament and collect money. But they who are lamp on the double citizenship and collect money from Parliament. What happened to the DPP? And the AG? Man, you get up and do all your work with these people, you know. Get up. Because me tell you this, if it was the Prime Minister Harris, they don't get down on him to pay back the money. Well, what are you going to do? Let them get to it with taxpayers' money, and they know they ain't supposed to do it? Government, too many persons are square plug in round hole. Pull out them square plug and put in the right round plug in them hole. They get in with a lot of things. Up the hospital near, go up there and get government money, and they're working honestly for it. And instead of they work the causing unity people. That's happening all around the country and in St. Kitts. Are you looking for the people who want to put this government there? And its management and administration allowing these people to be abusing unity people on the jobs. Time to done with that. Let them put the politics aside. Who help you? Help them. One hand wash the other. Patches, I'm done with it for the night. Thank you. I can just listen.
Thank you very much for your interventions. Always very controversial. Good evening, Patches, reads this email. I do not usually find myself agreeing with what Dr. Douglas says or does. But for once, I agree with what he said based on the clip you played. People are very sensitive when it comes to their hard-earned savings. And to be honest, I don't think that enough information was disseminated by the bank. I know the bank is very strong, but people need to be properly informed. As far as the Bank of Commerce is concerned, there was a run on the bank, and the rest is history. However, some politicians at that time helped to fuel the run on the bank. And don't forget, too, that a lot of people didn't get their monies, but there were also a lot of people who stopped paying back the bank monies owed. Reads that email. Very interesting perspective. This other email reads, the first run on a bank in St. Kitts was in 1982 and not 85, as you stated. Did I say that? Well, if I said that as wrong, I said it was actually liquidated in 1985. According to the records, it was the court appointed a liquidator. I believe it was 1985, but let's not dispute that. If it's 82, then let's say 82. But the information, like I said, we had, it was liquidated back in 1985. I was trying to find that information. Yes, it was liquidated back in 1985 when the court appointed. It was really compulsory. It went into compulsory liquidation on May the 9th, 1985, at which time Mr. Walter Simmons, late Walter Simmons, an experienced accountant, was appointed by the High Court as its liquidator. And yes, the run would have started long before that, my straight talk family. So let's take what you said. It was, the run started in 1982, and that's just after that particular government change. In 1982, the president of the bank was a former attorney general with the Bradshaw government, and the late Moore, I think, was an advisor or the bank's lawyer as well. So you see where, I see where you were going in terms of what the assistance and the pressure that came from the government. There's some social security monies as well, I believe, was tied up in that bank, with some of it eventually got back after that court and the liquidators dealt with that matter. And many people, after 30 years, got their monies back from the National, the Bank of Commerce as well. But my straight talk family, banking. And I posit the view, like I said, that what happened to the Bank of Commerce will not happen to the National Bank. And the Prime Minister, who is also the Minister of Finance and Minister with responsibility for banking, gave that assurance to the country as it relates to a possible run, as we call it, on the bank.
The customer's deposit, the bank is assured, is protected. There is no run on the bank. In fact, we have had more deposits than withdrawal during this period. In coming to raise it and as if there is something being hidden on the bank is unfortunate, because we had a run on the bank before. We had that. And so from that experience, we should be guarded as to what should happen and what ought not to happen. I can assure the depositors and all the customers at the bank that the National Bank leadership is doing everything humanly possible. And that is why in reports after report that come out, you're getting an update of the progress.
And yes, my straight talk family, I found it sad though when some people seem to be gloating in the view that something was wrong with the bank. At a time when so many people are out of their jobs and are depending on their savings at the bank and trying to say to people that the bank is collapsing. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you are live.
Good evening, Patches. Now, I go with Bank of Commerce. Now, let me explain something to you, Bank of Commerce.
The man, I don't remember his name, but he was Attorney General in the Bradshaw government. He took over the bank from Bank of America and named it Bank of Commerce. Then he started to compete with a lot of business place in St. Kitts. He bought a plane, he was going to the fridge zone and different places like that, and buying fridge, stove, cars and all used to come on the plane. And the people them who had the business and so on get offended. And they wait till he couldn't make a payment in the bank and take out the money out of the bank. The big one them. And what money was left back there, they still get something, you know. Because who they put in charge at the bank with a junior minister was overlooking everything. They used to call people and tell them, look, I don't put your money aside, come collect money. You come collect your money. You come collect your money. But the poor people and them couldn't get a one. You understand me? And that is what happened with the Bank of Commerce. And anybody want to come on and dispute what they said, is up to them. But I know what went on with Bank of Commerce because I was in the know. Okay, thank you, Patches.
You had an account there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
He never much, eh? He never much. No big set of money.
Okay.
I used to coop and go there and get piece. You understand me? But they know what they were doing. They were calling the friends and giving the friends the money. And Patches, you is old enough to know that. You is old enough to know what went on. You understand me? So the fact remains, these are the things that happen, and people in St. Kitts get scared for anything, you know, and they have people, radio station here, that pressing it. With 3 men talking on a show about the bank, going bankrupt, go get you this and get you that. You understand me? Like my good friend with thing. They go and they were telling people, don't go there to get your money, don't put the money into that bank and all kind of thing when they were in control. You know? But National Bank was always strong all the time. You understand me? And to Mr. Politics now, right? I want to tell Mr. Politics, it's not a matter as people ain't put money in the bank and people ain't put money in Social Security. All what I am saying, people need help. And if you could help the people, the economy will turn around. I don't know where the government going to get the money from. You understand me? Because they try the best and they try the best. So they will be able to work out something. They meant big schools and so on. And they're good in finance. So God bless you all. Okay.
Bless you as well. Trying to find an innovative way to stimulate the economy. Trying to inject some money from Social Security. One has to be careful though, because that money is for us and those who are going to retire. They'll need that money when they do so. Caller, you're live. It's 27 past 9. Hello, caller.
And how are you?
I am peaceful, my brother.
Okay. Last week, two people coming 3 and 4 time, I didn't get in with it. Well, last week, a fella come down the road, and you know, every time they see me, it's something because me's a big unity man. Not because me don't say nothing. A lot of people who play big unity, they are no. But the name
some leadership in the amount of people more, but people really package. I am 71 years, and I am a unity left, right, and center. I voted for Mr. Harris 27 times. And when Harris move over, I move over Mr. Harris. I'm a unity. And I'm saying tonight, I had to straighten out the fella. And listen here. I went to the bank because I went to the machine. And the machine gave me one thing. And I went back down to Social Security. And I asked them a question, and they gave me the what I have. I went back up to the bank, and my account was all right. I went to the bank one time later, yeah, and I have some money in the bank, and I got $600 off the account. And the account come back good. I know how much money I have. Well, tomorrow morning, I have to go to Social Security and I have to go to the bank and ask a question. Because you see, I can tell you something. When you're for the government, you're trying to petty things. And you want to mess up. Some people, I'm telling you seriously, some people want to mess up. From the time they know you're a unity man, they want to mess you up because they want to talk. But me not have nothing to talk about. I know that the bank is a strong bank, but people is, every time when I heard that, they say, people is sabotaging. And I'm saying, even in the government, people sabotage the government left, right, and center. And the ministers, them supposed to be really know what's going down. So, Mr. Patrick, the situation is that that put people in the place left, right, and center. Because every time they come to me, I just fix them. Some people tell me, "Boy, you look so but you're not easy, you know." Well, they say, I'm telling you, I talk broad and heavy tonight. I'm a unity. I am not one the crabby team unity. I am a man that conscious about self. And I'm saying it tonight. And I tell you, if I want to speak to the Prime Minister anytime, I will go and talk to him. Because when people meet me, I'm number 7 man. Timothy man. And so that is it. But people must talk the rubbish, man. People must talk the rubbish. Because they can't put their hand in the cookie jar. They do everything. And things say, you know, culture say that people work and people now work and get paid, and that is true. And we will talk about it, and so that is real, and the government has to look into that there. And so, Mr. Patrick, you stay strong. And by the help of the Lord, by God's grace, God is going to help you. Good night, Mr. Patrick.
Good night, my brother. John James, the Bible man. And the fact is, though, there's the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, and its primary objective is to maintain the stability of the Eastern Caribbean currency and the integrity of the banking system. And the Banking Act, Cap 21.01, and that act, which revised and consolidates the law relating to banking, and in that connection replaced the Banking Act number 6 of 1991 to facilitate the Caribbean single market and economy and to provide for related or incidental matters. And Section 20, before I go back to the lines, bear with me 1 second, caller. It speaks to the central bank examination, and I quote, subsection 1, the central bank shall examine or cause an examination to be made of each licensed financial institution from time to time or whenever, in its judgment, such examination is necessary or expedient in order to determine that such financial institution is in a sound financial condition and that requirements of this act have been complied with in the conduct of its business. That's the role of the central bank. Are you saying the central bank is sleeping? Caller, you are live.
Good night to you, Honorable Patches, Liburd, Ambassador.
Good night to you, my brother.
Calling you from Jamdown.
Jamaica in the house. Always good to have you.
I want to commend the central bank for responding quickly to what would have appeared to have been a breach. But I want to assure the people of St. Kitts and Nevis that this is not something that is strange across the Caribbean, in particular in Jamaica. Most of our commercial banks have had to be beefing up their data security. And I think that your Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris, who is a good Prime Minister, would have, in the ICT policy, which I see coming from Minister Akila Byron Nisbet, as the Minister with responsibility for ICT et al., that those things would be something that would be done in consideration to protect the security of data and of information. Yes? And so sometimes we beat up ourselves when we're a little bit ahead, because the bank did issue a statement based upon what I saw to move quickly to deal with the issues. So I say to the bank, congratulations on celebrating 50 years of protecting and keeping the people of St. Kitts and Nevis and Anguilla's money. With that said, I want to commend the nation for starting the vaccination program. I saw the leaders led today from front with the vaccination, and it is going to be an important tool in the fight. But I'm aware that there's an anti-campaign vaccine current program being held by some persons in St. Kitts, and that will not argue well for the fight and for the return of the economy. So if you want to play football, if you want to watch cricket, then it must include vaccination. Yes? I want to hear your thoughts on these.
Totally agree.
Honorable Patizabad.
Well, always grateful for your input. And you're so correct. The bank communicated the issue as relates to its IT security, or the IT security information. That's the information technology security issue. The bank did not go into details as it relates to what in fact transpired, what happened. But so what? Should the bank, as a matter of its own security, just divulge all these matters? No. And the bank is sound. And I agree with you in terms of the information and communication technology and going forward. We have advanced in St. Kitts and Nevis, and we have advanced very far, and we'll be going further. And as we become a paperless world, especially now in COVID-2, we have become a virtual world where everything is done through ICT. You know, we just have to adapt. But there's some people, like you said, as someone said earlier, if they cannot control it, they try to damage it. And that's what's happened here in St. Kitts, and it happens all over the Caribbean. The bank undertook a process. It took some time. It took 2 weeks. It was important that they establish what went wrong and try not to have a repetition of what went wrong. And yes, those who didn't want to get up to date in terms of the mobile banking and the online banking and so on, they're the ones who have to or had to wait in the lines. And I mean, quite frank, you know, banking is a social thing. I mean, it's nice, just like the post office. It's good when you can go into the lines and see people you haven't seen for a long time. I myself like it, you know. I know at times I've gone to the bank and I feel a little embarrassed when they pull me off the line and try to expedite my service. I'm grateful for that, but I do enjoy mingling with the people as well while I wait in lines for my service, teleservice. But the bank has gone past that, or banking, I should say, has gone long past that, and we just have to adapt, adjust, and move with the times. Just like currency, you hear talk about cryptocurrency and different things, but there's so many transactions being done that don't require your physical presence in the bank, and that is where the bank has gone, my Straight Talk family. And I want to say again, to make the point, yes, that the central bank has a role to play, and the central bank must have stepped in if something went wrong with the bank. And as intimated earlier as well, you know, St. Kitts and Nevis have advanced as it relates to ICT. You know, we have moved forward in terms of our digital transformation, and we have more in mind that the disadvantaged amongst us, they will experience difficulty in accessing such digital technologies and the internet or the broadband. So it is the role or the policy of the government within that ICT policy is to address as well the inequality in access as it relates to the digital technologies, my Straight Talk family. But the lines are still open, my Straight Talk family. It's now 19 before the 10 o'clock hour. As if you just joined us, we looked at the issue of banking, and we looked at the importance of banking and where banking came from in St. Kitts, and we looked at our premier institution, our banking institution, the St. Kitts Nevis National Bank, which would be celebrating 50 years of existence. We also looked at the COVID vaccine rollout, my Straight Talk family, and it didn't seem to have that unity of purpose as it relates to that particular rollout. Because just today, it must be commendable to see all of the cabinet members of cabinet taking their vaccine, starting with the medical chief of staff. And some of those arms look powerful. So too, Prime Minister Harris.
Let us be the first to receive and achieve herd immunity, I want you to invite your neighbor, your family members, everyone to participate. The numbers and representatives we have had from the various groups who are participating is indicative of that philosophy. We have invited all sides of the House to participate. And in this regard, the Medical Chief of Staff, Dr. Wilkerson, would have invited the Leader of the Opposition to be part of this process today. We hope that he will come before it's ended today. The Speaker of the Parliament is expected tomorrow to join with the other members of the Parliament and again to showcase the unity in the country as far as vaccination is concerned.
And just to follow up as well, in relation to that last caller, we recall that it was in 2019, my colleague and AG would always hold up that trophy because St. Kitts and Nevis was ranked #1 in ICT development amongst the countries in the region and number 37 out of 176 countries evaluated around the world. So this is testament to the progress we have made in bolstering our technological development and ensuring that we have a sound ICT policy in place as well, my Straight Dog family. And as we said tonight, we must take meaningful steps to end the political division and dysfunction that pervades our politics. Because the never-ending and insidious attempts at the personal destruction of each other, they're not helping to advance the development of our federation. I mentioned today what happened in terms of the attempt to really get or move forward towards our herd immunity. And one emailer mentioned that he supported what the leader of opposition said. Let's hear exactly what the leader said in Parliament.
I asked for more information on what has been in the media in recent times with regard to the difficulties that depositors, clients, and customers are experiencing in dealing with this bank over the last week or so. There is not enough information, thus it lends to gross speculation on the part of the citizens of our country and on the part of the depositors who have made this bank their bank. We ask for more information so that ideas that are being circulated may not just be wild ideas, but ideas which should be put to rest with regard to proper accountability.
The truth be told, while I respect what the emailer wrote, that comment could be considered being bordering on, I think the term is ghoulish. I hope I got that right. A ghoulish comment, my Straight Dog family. It is insidious as well, because really, if one understands the role of the central bank, #1, the bank had issued some, I think it's 4 press releases, and we know the importance of the bank in terms of the economic performance of a country and in terms of our financial system. We know the vital and crucial role that banking and finance play in framing public policy in today's business environment. So when you try to introduce these ghoulish comments, one has to be cautious. Caller, you alive? It's 12 before 10 o'clock.
Yeah, since nobody wants to call, let me use this little seconds here. The Bible is always right, and I don't care who cuts the Bible. The Bible prophecy will be fulfilled. We all know Matthew 7:5 say, "Thou hypocrite, first take the beam out of your eye, and then you're going to see clearly to take out the mote out of your brother's eye." When Bragadam paid $1 million for his diplomatic passport, was there any information to the nation up to now? Who Bragadam get the passport from and give the nation no information on that? So let who sell it tell the nation still how Bragadam get that and why he get that. Major Jones, good night. Rock, good night. Jamdon, good night. And Janet in Station, good night. Good night to Patrice. I have to come back in and say that. Thank you.
Good night, my brother. Patches, this email reads, tell Rock that some of the things he said about the bank are inaccurate. It was a massive run on the bank, and ironically, some of the people who went with large sums of money are people, some people might not believe, do not have, or might believe do not have much money. But don't be fooled. A lot of the ordinary people know how to save well. Mr. Walwyn did some wrong things, yes, but it was the run on the bank that killed it. On the other hand, ECCB has measures in place to protect the integrity of the National Bank. Finally, people have to realize that National Bank is our own. Don't you see that all foreign banks are leaving? Reads this email. Very interesting position. But the question is, you ask, if not National Bank, what? And the questions we ask tonight, and we have asked, and some have been considered as well, is that what should we do in terms of advocating the best way to manage your money? Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Hi, good evening. Hello?
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yeah, I'd like to point out an inconsistency which I've observed between last Friday and today. There was a funeral in Old on Friday, and by or before 10 a.m. in the morning, there were cones on the road in the region of the church and the neighboring buildings. I'm going to Sandy Point today for a funeral, looking for the same cones. There were no cones on the road. I really wonder what is the policy and the traffic department on this matter. Thank you very much.
Hey, they caller? Okay, didn't quite understand. He said there's a policy, it relates, he said cones on the road.
There was a
in Old Road
last
week Friday. I'm going to Sandy Point today.
And by 10 o'clock on Friday morning or before,
that's a good
there
question.
were
I didn't quite
cones on
understand
the road
the point he was making. But
in the region of the church.
I trust and hope, though, as you mentioned that, as we embark on the phase 2 of the lighting, that those in authority, as it relates to the traffic, will understand that transportation is a science. And especially when you start blocking off these roads downtown, right, it just kicks the science out of the door. And you have all this chaos in the traffic. So that's something that have to be considered, especially sometimes the things happen downtown Bastille at 4 o'clock, but the roads are locked off at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then there again goes the chaos. Is there someone on the line? Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Patches, this afternoon I was listening to the news, and I listened to Dr. Joe. He was saying that the people didn't get sufficient update and how to educate them towards the COVID, the vaccine. Patches, I want to know how much education people want to know about the vaccine. When the CMO, the minister, Akila Byron, coming on and talking, repeating over and and different radio stations, how this vaccine will roll out. And you hear sensible people saying the same thing, running the political line. Patches, let me tell you something, right? We all know that there is opposition, and opposition will find means and ways to say anything to distract the people out there who are supporting them. And nothing wrong with opposition, but people must tell the truth. People must tell the truth. Because this young lady coming on as the Minister of Health, coming on the radio every tick of the clock, you hear they repeating Tanzania and Sugar City Rock and other radio stations, you hear him coming on and so this vaccine will roll out. And they're saying that people ain't get sufficient update on this vaccine, how the vaccine will roll out. I want to know what they want the government to do. Patches, and the next thing again, Patches, especially with these young men in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. I got a problem with our young men, them here. I got a big problem with them. Patches, our young men in this country need to find something positive to do. Patches, when I see so much, when I walk the street at the time, and I see so much young man on the road with machete in the hand, you understand? They could have got sat on a roll and a hammer going from some construction site. But Patches, I'm going to tell you, a lot of these contractors here, in St. Kitts, now what they're doing, they're hiring the Spanish them now, paying them less money. We got a lot of skillful young men here too, who willing to learn the trade and do construction too, but they want to undermine them, and these young men got children. So young man, don't nobody distract you. I go out there and hold something positive, do something, find something positive to do. Where you are going to come home and cut grass? Where come some before parents them come home and cut sugarcane all the time? And what mounting wrong and all these things? But, I mean, working mounting wrong, no problem, because when you're doing farming, you're doing livestock farming, and you're doing wrong farming. That is something important. But when you want to tell me that, I want to stop out there with machete and just cut grass, come all cutting grass? Have no problem cutting grass, but you are a young man, you all expect by a young man, other people coming in the country and getting this work. When you are going to go on a trade and find something positive to do, I have a problem with it. Because you are the future of this country. Your children will come, your children come, meet I do the same thing, but I'm not cut cane, because I have no choice. I have no choice than to cut cane. My brothers them cut cane. I end up to do construction too. That's the first school I went straight in the construction. But when things bad in the construction, I go out there and cut sugar cane. You understand? Because nothing much was there to do. Until 1980 when Dr. Simmons get in. A lot of young men put down the machete out there and went in the construction. And some of them are contractors now, building professional contractors in the country right now. So we got to find a way out, man. We got to find a way out for these young people. Right? Hotel ain't doing much with our young women, them, and the factory them ain't doing much because you see the COVID thing, right? A lot of these women is doing the here just in doing the little own chop and chop and all, in fact things online and start selling to fight something for themselves. Patricia, have a wonderful night again. God bless. Coach, I will not call me, but you're all right. You take care. I will talk with this still.
Yes, have a wonderful night, my dear brother. Yes, lots of information was imparted by the CMO in particular.
This afternoon, over 50 persons have come out to be vaccinated. They are choosing to take the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. They are choosing to protect themselves, their families, and our society. During this week, COVID-19 vaccination will continue at this health center, the Newtown Health Center, at the Bastia Health Center, Sandy Point Health Center, and the Tabernacle Health Center in St. Kitts. And in Nevis, the Charlestown Health Center, the Gingerland Health Center, and the Combermere Health Center. The vaccine will be given to persons aged 18 to 80 years. However, persons who are over 80 can still receive this vaccine. However, we are recommending that they go to their regular practitioner or physician and be evaluated to determine the suitability for receiving this vaccine. We will be using an appointment system, and so interested individuals in the groups I would have just described, you are asked to go to the nearest health center to make an appointment. Or, if you care to, you can call 311 and you will be given an appointment within 24 to 48 hours of your making that call.
Yes, so the information is being laid out. And this message reads, before I wind down tonight's programming, Patches, you will understand, and I will understand, but you have to realize that the St. Kitts, Nevis, and Gwilla National Bank is a poor people's bank, and there are a lot of things those people will not understand. Mobile banking and IT are not part of their makeup, so that is why information release should be broken down to cater for these people. Point well taken, my Street Talk family. And as we wind down tonight's programming, just to inform you again that the bank, National Bank, St. Kitts Nevis and Gwilla National Bank, celebrating 50 years is highly commendable. The disruption resulted in the bank having to accommodate customer transactions through a manual process that caused lines. But the bank is sound. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you are live.
Yeah, Patches, he said me not calling him. Politics good night too. But you let me tell you something, politics. As long as somebody work honest, they will enjoy the pay. Hear me, boy, the sweat of your brow, man shall eat bread. Whether it's a match with axe or whatsoever it is, they are doing something, but it's just that some people don't work the amount of time that they're supposed to work. But listen here too, a lot of local people take people money to do work for them, and they ain't knock, and they got the people money. And that is wrong. The foreigners, when they come here, they ain't gonna do that. They're not gonna take people money and they show up to do the work. They're gonna work for whatever reason. They're gonna do the work. Whether they're customer or their behavior home, yes or not, they ain't gonna take your money. But a lot of people from here got people money. I know two of them for sure got money from Oman to do work and buy material, and nothing tall happened. And he got more than 3 years. Them do that, the two people. So ease up off the foreigners, them.
Okay.
Thank you, Patrice. Good night.
Thank you very much. Good night, my brother. And again, as we wind down, as of today, Monday, February 22nd, all of the services have been restored. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Yeah, how are you doing, man?
I am peaceful, sir.
Yeah, just a quick question before you go off the air. I noticed the CMO mentioned 3 health centers in Nevis with the COVID vaccine rollout, but I didn't hear the health center in Cotton Ground being mentioned. Is there any reason why there wasn't a rollout inside St. Thomas's Parish? I just needed like an answer on that. Thanks.
Thank you very much. That's something I will have to investigate, caller. Just to be certain, let's take this other call, but let's take this call before I get to that. Call you live.
Good evening, Mr. Liburd.
Good evening, my lord. How art thou?
I'm not bad, and you? And how is the cold?
Peaceful, I'm peaceful.
You, man?
Lovely weather. Send me a blanket.
Sorry I can't help you. Down here is cold too, so I need all the blankets I can get. Anyhow, A National Bank with the unfortunate situation with their IT problems. I'm going to be very brief. I was speaking to a friend of mine 2 days ago who lives in St. Lucia, and we were talking about the National Bank. And surprisingly, he told me that just about a week before National Bank had their problems with the IT, whatever the cause of the problem was, the National Bank in St. Lucia also had a problem with their IT. So I don't know if the two of them are related in any way. I don't know if it's hackers or it's just sheer coincidence. But it is surprising that they're just a week apart of each other. But I don't think he didn't mention anything about I must say, there was in St. Lucia, there seemed to have been no cases where the opposition seemed to have been making mileage out of the situation with the bank. Everybody was concerned about getting the bank back to normal, not fighting the government to embarrass the government or the bank in that respect. We just see how opposition leaders or opposition parties operate differently. Ours is at the bottom of the pit as far as opposition goes. Have a pleasant night, sir, and we'll talk again on Thursday.
Thank you. Have a pleasant night as well. I promise to let you listen to the venues that were announced by the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Hazel Laws, which included those in St. Kitts and those in Nevis. Let's see if she missed Cotton Ground.
COVID-19 vaccination will continue at this health center, the Newtown Health Center, at the Bastia Health Center, Sandy Point Health Center, and the Tabernacle Health Center in St. Kitts. And in Nevis, the Charlestown Health Center, the Gingerland Health Center, and the Combermere Health Center. The vaccine will be given to persons aged 18 to 80 years. However, persons who are over 80 can still receive this vaccine. However, we are recommending that they go to their regular practitioner or physician and be evaluated to determine their suitability for receiving this vaccine. COVID-19 vaccination will continue at this health center.
Okay. The Combermere. Well, my Nevis geography is poor. Combermere, I lost that. I got Gingerland, Charlestown. I'll have to do some homework and updating on my Nevis geography. While I spent so much time there during the holidays as a young boy growing up. My Stray Dog family, my time is done and I gotta run. I want to just reassure you that as of today, Monday, the 22nd of February, 2021, the following services are restored at the bank. I'll take this call. Caller, can you use 30 seconds?
Yes, good evening. How
good
are
evening,
you?
dear. I'm peaceful. Yourself?
I'm here, I'm cool. Imagine he going in the house to ask for people to tell he what about the bank. When they bounced the check for Nevis, he did not enter in the house go give nothing neither. So what he looking for now? You see how they just do injustice to themselves? Why they not like for themselves, they like to give people? When they bounce Nevis check, they went on the year go say nothing, he went in the house go say nothing, but now he want somebody to say something and whatnot. He and the emailer is just alike, none better than none. I just one of the people sending the email. You have a pleasant night.
A pleasant night as well. I can see those dimples. Thanks. And that's our final call for the night. That's the way we're going to end it. My Stray Dog family. And again, as I was saying, all of the services are restored at the National Bank. The ATM services, the point of sale, online banking, telephone services, emails, credit card services, real-time account balances verification, debit card services, mobile banking, and wire transfers. This is coming from the bank itself. I'm sure they will apologize for the inconvenience that was caused. The deposits made by its customers over the past weeks, we are told as well, far exceeds the amount withdrawn by its customers. The scope of the bank's operation and its growth over its 50-year history is truly remarkable, and it captures the attention and admiration of customers and professionals all over the world. And I end this way, my Street Talk family. All nationals, or as nationals of St. Kitts, Nevis, and Anguilla, the OSS, and the wider Caribbean, we have much reason to celebrate the golden jubilee of the St. Kitts, Nevis, and Anguilla National Bank. Don't you move your dial. Albert Bradley comes right in after Straight Talk. But the pleasure is mine to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight. And as always, I want to thank you, the many callers, even those who could not get in. Some get in 4 and 5 times. How they do it, I don't know. But my Straight Talk family, there are those of you on social media, Facebook, YouTube. You're back on YouTube. Mark, you tell your friends, tell your neighbors. You're back on YouTube after a little hiatus. But that's something else, but we are back. For those of you who listen to ZIZ Radio, 96.1 FM, those of you down at the Ferry Dock, Sasha Marley, Jasmine Kelly, the whole bunch down there at the Ferry Dock, and all over St. Kitts and Nevis, or matter of fact, all over the Caribbean, or should I say, all over the world. Remember, you are the ones who make Street Talk, and for that I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Liburd, God's Spear. We will connect on Thursday for another edition of Street Talk. Until that time, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. And remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you've got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, just thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you to the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Thursday.
That I will achieve.